I'm going to try to the best of our ability to talk about the current guys on the LSU team that are playing in the bowl game, that are in Orlando right now, getting ready to play. Obviously, since the playoffs have started and all, like the bowl games have lost a little bit of luster. It's a hard job for a head coach and a staff to try to keep these guys up. What is the vibe of the team that you're seeing or feeling around the hotel, around the practice facility? Are they excited to be there? Is it something that they're kind of like locked in, or is it, we're just happy to be here, let's get our gifts and let's go home?
Well, the practice today was closed, so we couldn't go to that. There's going to be an event we can go to tomorrow night. They're going to do a Top Golf event down the road here, so we can go see them at that, shoot video of that. But, Mikey, it is a 180 from last year. I was at that Texas Bowl last year in Houston where, I always joked it was like unsolved mysteries, like who's getting off the bus, who's here, Right. There's Bronte Jones, he's still here. Okay, there's Jake Peets, he's still here. Okay. But then when the 2 deep came out, you had guys in the 2 deep that you didn't. No offense that I didn't. Who's Hunter Faust and who are these guys that are like in the 2 deep? And so that game was a complete disaster. Less than 40 scholarship players. We've all said
wide
it
receiver playing quarterback.
Yeah, John Trey back to his lecture days playing quarterback. He did throw 3.
He did.
In a bowl game.
He did.
But LSU got smoked in an empty stadium and all that. So this year you got Jaquelin Roy's not going to be there, Ali Gay, BJ Ojolari. So your D-line is you lost a lot of people there. I was a little surprised when Jeray Jenkins said he wasn't going to play in the bowl game. I thought he would play, but he's not going to play. But you got a guy like Jay Ward who's going to play, and really you've got most of your wide receivers, even losing Kayshawn, you'll have a lot of wide receivers. Your offensive line, right, is intact.
Your quarterback.
Your running back. Yeah, your quarterbacks, obviously, that's both of them.
Right.
So it looks like that they're on board to do this, and I think it's important for them to win the game. I know a lot of people, I said this on an interview today, I think the one bad thing about 2019 is that it just makes people think that that's the way it's supposed to be all the time, and that's what it could seem like. 2019, that's a good, no. That's like once in a lifetime, perhaps never going to happen again. Even if LSU wins another national championship, it won't be like that. And so I think it's important for LSU when you look at their schedule and it says 2022 and the W's are green and the losses are red L's. You don't need 3 straight red L's going to the. You don't need to go 10-5, Mikey. That's
no 9-5. 9-5. You don't even get to 10 wins.
Yeah, my bad. 9-5. There's a big difference, in my opinion, between 10-4 and 9-5. You do not want to be 9. So, and then you give the people the opportunity to say, "Oh, that Alabama win was a fluke, and this was a fluke, and this and that." If you win, you go 10-4, and you kind of attach that to the signing class and the momentum.
Yeah.
Then I think it's difference really. And so I think that they'll be excited. Look, man, as far as weather. It's going to be like 82 degrees, sunny, no rain. You can't ask for any better to be excited and run out of the tunnel. It'd be like Fayetteville when they were up there. So,
come the second, how healthy of a Jaden Daniels do you think will show up that day?
Is that Jared Mitchell?
Oh, you didn't know Jay Mitch? You know Jay Mitchell on the show? He's my co-host.
Are you kidding me?
This man hasn't watched a single shred of content.
I have, but let me do my best Paul Maneri impression for you, Jared. Oh, Jared, I'm so embarrassed. I had no idea. There you go.
That's pretty good.
That would definitely make Paul smile. I like that.
I heard about the stories too. Look, I'm Matt Clark. I hit 28 home runs. Only 2 runners.
We'll tell you on camera the rest of that conversation.
Real quick, Paul, greatest coach in terms of media relations, always return a call, nicest guy, never turned down a charity event. He was like made in a factory in terms of like great guy, media person. So, and obviously a very, very, very good coach, great coach. Yeah. But anyway, Jared, what was your question, Jared? I'm sorry.
I said, come the second, how healthy of a Jaden Daniels do you think will actually show up for that game?
Well, Jared, I think he's going to be pretty healthy. I mean, it was not a high ankle sprain, right? I don't know if you've ever had that, who's had that, but that's the thing that never goes away, right? So apparently, I was there covering the Texas A&M game, and he goes down twice, and both times, man, he looks like he's in agonizing pain. He can barely, get off the field. I'm like, man, should they still be playing him? Is he going to be hurt badly? And he played against Georgia, and he passed the ball pretty well, and then he eventually had to leave. But I think he's going to be healthy from everything, that I'm hearing. I think he'll be fine. But obviously, the way things went with Nussmeier in the SEC Championship created a whole new discussion in terms of, is LSU utilizing their wide receivers to the best of their ability, and is Nussmeier a better option? But at the same time, if you ask me to vote for the team MVP, it's it's Daniels without a doubt.
Well, and that's kind of what I want. That's my next question. Is obviously when he announces that he's not going to the NFL draft, he's returning to LSU for his last year. You had a bunch of mixed emotions from the fans because fans are always extremely reasonable and not emotional, and they have very logical takes on these types of things, right? Like that's kind of what goes on. And so you see that and you're like, well, look, I understand the concerns. I understand you want to see them push the ball down the field more and utilize the receivers more because you saw a little bit of Georgia, but you also saw a little bit of the recklessness. You saw a little bit of the opportunity of, some of these 50-50 balls could have gone the other way and been interceptions. And you have Jaden who threw for almost at a 70% clip, didn't turn the ball over, and basically took you to almost maybe have a 10-win season on a season where you were projected the over-under was 7 wins, right? So I think him coming back is a boost. What's your take on that? Obviously, anytime you have that type of experience coming back and another year of continuity always helps.
Well, I think when they first got him, Mikey, it was kind of viewed as he was going to be a bridge, right? I mean, we needed some guy who had been a starter for 3 years, who wasn't going to panic when you put him in front of 80,000 people in Jordan-Hare Stadium or 90,000 in the swamp and could handle him. Hey, look, we may not have a great team. We might go 6-6, but just kind of get us through this so we can get Walker Howard ready for next year or Nussmeier, whoever the case may be. And so he's a very complex topic, Mikey. It's like he led them to so many comebacks, but did he lead them to so many comebacks because he's the reason they fell behind in the first place, because they couldn't score for a while?
Right.
He's the leading rusher on the team. He ran for 800 yards and 11 touchdowns. Is he the leading rusher on the team because he's not staying in the pocket and throwing the ball to the receivers more? And so, I mean, that's just me. I'm sure, I know his parents well. His dad is awesome. If he's watching this, he probably hit me upside the head. But these are what the fans are kind of talking about in terms of Jaden Daniels. But he's obviously very likable. It's like a Joe Burrow situation, right? If Joe Burrow wasn't likable and stepped into a locker room where Miles Brennan had been there for a while, Justin McMillan, Lowell Narcisse. I mean, the whole locker room could have been split. This new hotshot pretty boy from Ohio State thinks he's going to step in here and be the quarterback. Obviously, the first day they start doing sprints, Foster Morrow and all them, he won all the sprints. He did crack jokes. He was serious, and he won over the team. And I think Jaden was similar. Jaden's very likable, smiles. I don't think I've ever really seen him angry, like in a game or off the field. And so he won over that team. So. But man, you watch Nussmeier fling that thing around, and it's pretty exciting. So
it's the shiny new car, but you park it close to a buggy at the grocery store and you get a scratch. It doesn't look quite as good, and it's a little bit more expensive to keep up, and you take the risk with the reward. And so I get it. You see it because he has elite arm talent. He has the ability to do things that there's not a lot of people in college football. Like there's not a lot of people that can do that. But at the same time, can he hone that in? And to me, and we've talked about this. Me and Jared talked about this a lot. There's a reason why he was not the starter coming out of camp, right? There's a reason why Brian Kelly sees stuff at practice that nobody else gets to see. He gets to see stuff happen consistently, and that's what you want from your quarterback is the consistency. And obviously, I didn't know Jaden was going to come back for another year, but I also didn't know he was going to have the type of year that he had. And now that he has, it's going to be interesting to see what goes on next year, because Walker is going to be a redshirt freshman. Walker is the guy that's coming in. He's a 5-star quarterback. I think, you don't want him to wait too long, and you want him to be able to develop, and the only way you develop is to get reps. And so, I hopefully that doesn't hurt his development as a quarterback.
Yeah, and Nussmeier, I think, like in baseball, maybe you didn't get in the starting lineup, and Coach Manera gave you one DH or something, and you come out and you swing at the first 3 pitches you see and you strike out. I think, when he came in against Southern, he's trying to make too much happen, right? I mean, he's throwing balls he shouldn't throw, and he threw the underhanded thing that Southern threw back on the 6 or whatever. And so he was just trying too hard. But that's the thing with him. And I know he's been trying to shake that gunslinger mentality. And, I'm not a gunslinger, but SEC championship, he had 2 turnovers. He threw a pick and he got sacked and fumbled 1. So, but yeah, he's got electric stuff. There's no doubt. I mean, I remember even last year, and LSU controls this stuff. There was no reason why they put it out. They could tell us something different. But I remember before 2021, we get these scrimmage stats, and it was like, Max Johnson, 15 out of 22, 152 yards, 2 touchdowns. Garrett Nussmeier, 15 out of 23, 330 yards, 4 touchdowns. I'm like, what? What's going on? And so.
How do you think Max Johnson feels right now?
I don't know. I like Max. I like Brad, his dad, and all that. But and I saw before the A&M game, all those guys went up to him, gave him hugs and stuff. That was a little controversial. Mikey, how do you feel about that? If there's a guy that's on your team and transfers and he's on the opposing sideline before a game, is it all right to go and dap him up and hug and all that before the game?
Yeah, I think it's fine. Just depends on how he exited, right? Like if he exited because he wasn't likable or he wasn't liked by the team and he had a bunch of, he was kind of like a prick. Obviously you're not going to go. But if he's a guy that was likable from everyone, he did the things that he did, and, because athletes kind of understand other athletes, and if he thought, hey, like my brother's going over there, I think I have a better opportunity. I don't know what's going to happen with this coaching change. I think that may be – so I have no problem with it, especially if he did it the right way behind the scenes, which I obviously don't know. But it's going to be he's not going to be the starter next year.
One funny thing, too, real quick, I'm sorry, but about scrimmages, Christian Lockett should tell me about scrimmages, okay? So he said they had a practice one day. They're like, man, we sacked Brandon Harris like 5 times. Fournette didn't get anything. We had a great day defensively. My mom called and said, so how was the scrimmage? He said, Mom, we did awesome. Well, that's not what I'm reading at LSUsports.net, where, it said... LSU threw for 250. They rushed for 250. Just made up stuff thrown up on a.
Yeah, because you don't know. It's not official stats. You can say whatever you want. Oh, he had a 102-yard kickoff return. They don't even kick off during these scrimmages. So I don't know what you're talking about. You know what I mean? But you're in Orlando. Obviously, I appreciate all your time. I know it's a little later. It's 8:20 over there. You're on Eastern time. I'm
not old, Mikey. I'm not falling asleep yet.
Hey, you had a long day. You're about to have a long night apparently because I'm glad we were able to break some news to you on the show. This is great. This is perfect timing.
I'm glad I had 1 beer and not 3 at dinner because I got some more work.
I had to roll that camera.
I think the show may have been better if you had 3. You could have maybe something else would have happened.
Oh!
Yeah. Hey, there we go.
Is that thing warm?
There we go.
It's a big old bust.
I'm actually holding up my phone here to do the Mikey Mahtook.
I appreciate you coming on. I'm not going to keep you for much longer. I have one last question. It's nothing to do with football, nothing to do with anything. You're in Orlando. The weather's great. What are you doing? Is it all business, all work? Or are you able to go out there and enjoy yourself? Maybe go to the parks. Maybe go drink around the world at Epcot if you want to do that. Maybe you'll be following a team around there. I don't know. What's on the agenda on the personal side?
Well, Mikey, man, we have a half-hour live special we got to do Friday that I'm doing 4 of the 5 features on, and then I'm by myself here. I'm not complaining. I got the best job in the world. But I got a lot of features. But the thing is, I do want to get out and about. Even if you walk around, Mikey, the restaurants are brand new, the palm tree. No matter where you walk, you feel like you're on vacation and the weather's great. But not that Disney is ever slow, but this is the worst time of year as far as the crowds, Christmas.
New Year's Eve.
You got in the elevator, you hear 2 or 3 different languages on the elevator alone. You got people coming in from all different countries. But no, I'd like to check some stuff out before the weekend,
Well, I hope you get to do it.
Yeah. Well, you got any experience
I do actually. When I was in Lakeland, I lived in Orlando, so I lived in Reunion, Florida, which is like right outside of. Like I was probably my place I lived was probably 10 miles from the parks, and so I would go to Epcot's like the adult version of Disney World. You have drinks from different countries and their foods and do that kind of stuff. So we would go do that and hang out, and they have a legit fireworks show though. I mean, if you want to go out there and have a few drinks, like it's a pretty cool deal over there. So that's, I'm not gonna say, hey, go ride the Tower of Terror or anything like that, but if you wanted to go and hang out, that's the spot to be.
I remember I had a teacher in high school. He became a state representative by the name of Sammy Terrio from Abbeville. And one day when he was giving us a talk in class about the real world and, you better get your act together and blah, 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 he talked about Disney. He said, there's a reason why people go to Disney, all right? It's a dream. It's not real, It's make-believe. The real world is not. But there's no doubt when you go there. I remember going as a kid, just seeing Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse and the fireworks and all that stuff, and it's almost impossible to be in a bad mood, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, there's no way you can.
Absolutely. Well, look, I hope that this work or the news tonight's not too much work for you, and I hope you get to enjoy yourself. I appreciate you taking your time and coming on our show and giving us some content and helping us go through with this breaking news, because this is great. And you always do a great job, man. So I really do appreciate it.
Hey, well, I'll tell you what, man. The reason I'm a sportscaster, so I can hang out with Jared Mitchell and Mikey Mahtook. There's no other way. Here's a guy who set for Millions basketball team. I had zero athletic ability. So.
I appreciate it. We appreciate it. We're definitely gonna have you back on because this is great. You understand the show. You get the vibe. I appreciate it. Enjoy Florida, enjoy the weather, and hopefully the Tigers pull one out for us.
Absolutely. Anytime. Happy to come on. So happy New Year.
Appreciate it.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.